Certain Manchester United players feel unmotivated. They feel like Ten Hag is going and they've given up on the manager. They've given up on the season, and that doesn't really come as a surprise. We've got big updates on injuries, who's set to return for Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and who should be back in time for the FA Cup final. We've got a big transfer boost coming in, some stories on Jal Neves. Sergeant Ratcliffe revealed he has sympathy for Ten Hag and the injuries he suffered, and his number one priority at United is football. We've had a couple other stories going about in regards to transfer takeover news, and of course a few centre-back signings. So this is what we're going to get through in today's video: injuries, players giving up on Ten Hag, transfers. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and give me 10 minutes of your time to sum up all the latest Manchester United news coming out today, starting with the latest on injuries. This is the reported return dates of players. They think that Bruno McTominay could be back for the Arsenal game, which is on the weekend. Potentially Varane and Martial could be back in time for the Brighton game. Martinez, they could rush for Arsenal, but I think it's more likely Newcastle. And then Maguire, Shaw, Rashford, they hope is back for Man City. Lindelof for Man City. Kambwala and Malassi are not expected back till summer. There's actually no information on Rashford's injury other than hopefully he'll be back in time for City is all they're saying. I thought that Rashford's injury was a little bit like he'd probably back for Arsenal. I assumed he would, but apparently it's looking more like Manchester City. But Martinez is obviously in training. That will be a key return. Varane could be a key return. You know, having Martinez and Varane at the back would be really, really important moving forward. So that is sort of the latest on the injury front. And I have to say, how many players have we got out? It's absolutely crazy how badly we've been hit by injuries this season. And I think, yeah, I mean, some of these players, maybe they could be playing through injury. I don't know. Bruno and McTominay have played through injury and they've made it worse. Martinez has played through injury and they made it worse. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these players have a slight injury and they think, you know what, not feeding it. It was also said face-to-face conversations between the Manchester United squad and Sir Dave Brailsford have centred on changing the club's culture, leading players to assume Erik ten Hag no longer figures in Sergeant Ratcliffe's plan. Manchester United players think that Erik ten Hag will be sacked at the end of the season. This is understood to affect their response to instructions in matches and training. And when you look at the Crystal Palace game, it was a new level of bad. Like, we've been bad this season, but we've been bad. And I've said, look, I actually think the players tried. I think the players gave 100%. I just think the tactics were wrong. Like, I think that these players fought, and I think that these players gave everything. We just were not good enough. We just didn't win. There's been times earlier in the season where we've not been good enough. The tactics have been bad and we've played bad, but I generally believed that the players on the pitch gave 100% and we just didn't win. We just weren't good enough. But these last couple of games, particularly Crystal Palace, these last 3-4 games, I don't see the fight. I've seen us not play well, you know, lose games, and actually I've seen fight from players. You know, I see fight from Delo, I see fight from Bruno, I see fight from Garnacho, I see fight from McTominay, I see fight from Maguire, but I don't see fight from much other people, to be honest. I really don't. And I felt that these last couple of games, I felt like the players sort of, right, the manager's gone, season's over. I feel like the players are mentally checked out. The season isn't over. Do you want to be in the Europa League, or do you want to be in the Conference League, or do you not want to be in Europa 2? We need the Europa League because that boosts the budget. We need the Europa League because there's a trophy we can win. We need the Europa League because if we win that, we can get back in the Champions League. And I feel like some of the players have mentally checked out this season. Like, I do think that, like, all the players are the biggest problem. I do think the bulk of the players have tried and given 100% for Ten Hag. I do. Like, I really see the effort in Delo and in Bruno and in Maguire and McTominay. Not all of those players are good enough, but you can see that they give 100%. Garnacho, Maino, Hoyland, you can see that they give 110%. But there's definitely a bulk of players in this Man United team that have been like, you know what, I'm leaving at the end of the season, or Ten Hag's leaving at the end of the season. And you can just see, like, the most recent matches that it just, yes, tactically it's been poor, but these players aren't given 100%. And I will criticise INEOS for this. You know, I've been impressed with what INEOS have done so far, but I think the speculation around Ten Hag and INEOS not clearing it up or giving any clarity on Ten Hag's future has led players to believe, yeah, the manager is sacked. They've not spoken to the players. They've sort of said, yeah, you know, we want to change the environment. They've not given the players any indication that Ten Hag will be here next season. So I think the players are like, yeah, Ten Hag is sacked. And I think the players are sort of given up. And the Disco Mirror said that Erik ten Hag is facing an anxious wait to learn his fate as Man United manager, and that Ratcliffe and the leadership team are weighing up all their options. Having given Ten Hag no assurance to remain in charge, there's concerns he's now lost the confidence of his squad. And I think he has. I think it's got really bad these last couple of games. Like, it was never good, but it's got particularly bad lately. We've got even worse as well. And I know we've had injuries, and I know that doesn't help. But I do think that some of the players have just checked out from the season. They've just checked out. Now, The good thing is a lot of players should be sold and we should be bringing in some new players in. And one player that I don't know if we'll bring in because of the price, and I don't think we're in a position to spend more than 60 million on one position, but that is Benfica wonder kid João Neves. It was said by Record Portugal via One Football that Manchester United are ready to advance for the signing of Benfica wonder kid João Neves, with Casemiro expected to leave this summer, according to Record. Neves has been identified as a priority to rejuvenate the club's midfield. The hierarchy reserved the budget of 86 million to secure the services of the 19-year-old. João Neves is great, but I wouldn't spend more than 70 million on him. I really wouldn't. I don't think we've got more than 70 million to spend on one player. And I think Benfica know how to get as much money as possible for players. I mean, Benfica got 400 million quid for Enzo, Darwin Núñez, like Goncalo Ramos, and João Felix. I think it's crazy how much money Benfica get, but apparently United are going to reserve that much money for the 19-year-old. And it said, despite uncertainty of Eric Ten Hag's future, United board do not want to waste time and promise an energetic intervention this summer to rebuild the squad and make it more competitive. We know that Manchester United want to go out there. We know that Manchester United want to get deals done quick, get deals done fast, and wrapped up this summer, which is great. They don't want to be hanging around, and I think João Neves is a great signing. I'd be all for Man United bringing in João Neves, although I do think we need a proper number 6 that's a physical profile to partner Maino and Bruno. I think that's the profile we need in midfield, but I think João Neves is such a talented player that, you know, I can understand United going for him as well. But we also need centre-backs, we also need right winger, we also need a striker, we also need a left-back. We need so many positions that unless we've got loads of money to spend and we're going to sell big, I think João Neves is a bit of a risk, but he's such a talented player. If we get him, it's a great signing. Continuing on, INEOS make football the priority. Andy Mitten has said that football will always come first for INEOS at Manchester United, which is something that wasn't the case under the previous leaders. No shit. Who would ignore performances on the pitch to assure staff that commercial activity was buoyant? And it was also said there's an acceptance that Ten Hag has not had it easy with injuries. It feels like Ten Hag's going to go, but INEOS do know that Ten Hag's had it difficult with injuries. They do know that Ten Hag's had little communication from those above him. They do know Ten Hag's working in an environment that set him out to fail, and that could buy Ten Hag time into next season, although it feels like Ten Hag will go. But INEOS want to make football the priority at United, and they understand that it's not been the priority at United the last 17 years, which is obvious. I mean, the facilities are behind, the staff is behind, every aspect of this football club is behind. Ronaldo exposed it, and the biggest thing INEOS can do really is get that full sale done as quick as they can and get those Glazers completely out of this club, because the Glazers have been rotting the club. The Glazers need to go. And, you know, INEOS, I believe that football is their priority because they make so much money through their chemical company. They don't need to make money through United, so Jim Ratcliffe can take money out of INEOS rather than Manchester United. I generally believe their plan is to make United great on the football pitch again. And, you know, what a time this has come, because we're a complete mess and we need a lot of work this summer. So hopefully INEOS do the work needed this summer. They do some good recruitment, and we can get back on track. And hopefully now that INEOS have, you know, sporting control and actually have a bit of financial control as well, because the Glazers said, you know what, we're going to give you the keys because we've run this club so badly. We need the club to get back on track. Hopefully, you know, it's the beginning. It's going to be a long process. It's not going to turn around in a year, but hopefully we'll start building things. We saw, you know, when Liverpool did it a couple of years ago, Arsenal did it a couple of years ago, how they got some good sporting directors and some good people in, and they slowly started building a squad that could compete at the top. Which brings me into my final stories. It was said that Manchester United are interested in signing Fulham centre-back Tosin this summer. Tosin is out of contract at Craven Cottage at the end of the season and could move to Old Trafford. I think he's going to go to Newcastle, but I think Tosin would be great. When you need 2 centre-back signings, if you can get Tosin on a free, that gives you the budget to get another centre-back signing in. We need 2 centre-back signings for depth. Look at the injuries we're getting. I'm all for that. It was also said that Man United are open to offers for Maguire and Lindelof, although it's likely at least one will stay. Personally, myself, I would keep Maguire over Lindelof. I think if Varane's leaving, there's no point getting rid of Maguire and Varane because they're both players that can head the ball good in the air. I think Lindelof would have to go. I think that Maguire is better than Lindelof. He's been more available than Lindelof this season. However, if I had it my way, I'd keep Varane and I'd sell Maguire and Lindelof, people. Thank you for watching today's video. This was a news roundup of all the latest Manchester United news in less than 10 minutes for you guys. Please do smash the like on the way out. Subscribe down below if you're new. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the players have given up? What are your thoughts on João Neves? What are your thoughts? Would you sell Maguire and Lindelof? I think we can only sell 2 centre-backs and Varane will go. So the second centre-back I pick is Lindelof. And then next season I'd look to sell Maguire. I mean, I think, to be honest, we need to sell like 90% of the squad and bring in about 10 players. But realistically, if we can sell 10 players, like I'm not including the ones that are walking for free, and bring in 5 players, I think I could be happy with that. But I still think we need 7 signings. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.